begins to walk slowly away. Behind him he hears Shushu's voice. "Don't forget me now, big brother Kaim. You hear?" It is the voice of the little girl from 80 years ago. Ringing ever clear, sweet and innocent, declaring farewell to the man who will travel life forever. Oh my god! Jesus Christ. That was the worst one. Ugh. It's the fucking music. I just know it's the music. They are really, really good. And... that's it, they're really good. So sad, some of them though. And some of them really do hurt. Well, not physically hurt, but... It's hard to read some of them if it's relatable. And that last one was. Oh, Jesus. Thank you, now the loading's all taken care of. But you sure this is okay? Won't the captain yell at you if he finds out how much you helped me? Ah, don't worry about it. This sort of thing we can handle in a flash. Yeah, think of it as payback for all the hot lunches you made us. If you need any more help, just give us a call. Oh. A dream has been revealed. What the heck? Letters from a weakling. Once there was a woman who came from a foreign land to marry into an old family. Her husband was from a tiny village in the mountains, but he was working in a thriving harbour town abroad when he met and fell in love with her. At the time he asked her to marry him, his father in his home country collapsed and died. Being the eldest son in his family, the young man had no choice but to return to his homeland, taking her with him, of course. Her name was Mina. This was not a name used by the women of his homeland. Indeed, her name was not the only thing about her that was different. The colour of her skin, hair, and eyes, and the language she spoke were all different. Had the young man's hometown been a harbour city where people of many different lands cross paths, there would have been nothing unusual about this. In such places there were any number of homes that welcomed foreign men and women into the family generation after generation. But this is about as deep in the country as you can get, the young man told Kaim, sighing, on the night he made Mina his wife. Kaim had rushed here all the way from the harbour town in the far country to attend the wedding. At the banquet, the young man had given Kaim a look, and the two had slipped away from the festivities. They were standing in the garden looking up at the night sky. When the eldest son marries, his wishes are of no importance. What matters is family. The two families negotiate the engagement, and the bride is chosen who is acceptable to the groom's parents. That's how it was with my parents, and my grandparents did the same. I know what you mean, Kaim said with a nod. Judging from the formal wedding ceremony, it was easy to imagine the highly conservative nature of the area, and just as easy to imagine that the relatives had not welcomed Mina to the family. Which is shitty. Alex, Kaim said to the young man. Yes, the young man answered, still looking up at the sky. You are the only one who can protect Mina, you know. I know that much, Kaim. Mina is a wonderful girl. I know that too, of course. The three were good friends. Kaim and Alex had worked together offloading ships at the same pier, and also together they had often gone to the neighbourhood where Mina worked in an outdoor stall. Even now Kaim retains the bittersweet memory of Alex and Mina struggling to communicate in each other's languages. You know, Kaim, Alex said that night under the sky. I think you sensed it too, but Mina was drawn less to me than to... Kaim cut him short. Never mind, he said with a pained smile. Of course Kaim knew how Mina felt, and if he had responded to her feelings, she and Alex would not have been married here today. But Kaim had held back. Instead, he had urged Alex to pursue his love for Mina, and helped the two come face to face. He felt no regrets about having played the part of an unlikely Cupid for them. Destined to continue his never-ending journey, Kaim was unable to love Mina in return. One of Alex's uncles stepped out of the house, drunk. Hey Alex, what are you doing out here? He growled. The groom can't be absent from the reception. Sure, I'll be right there, Alex said, turning towards his uncle. Kaim tapped him on the shoulder. Make Mina happy, Alex. Leave it to me. he answered with a smile. Come on, said the uncle. Hurry up, the groom's supposed to sit there the whole time. The entire family is here. And we're going to drink the night away. He grabbed Alex's hand and dragged him back into the house. The man was all smiles with Alex, but he glanced at Kaim. His borderline polite smile could not disguise the gleam of distrust in his eye from an outsider. For an outsider. Kaim was sure he had noticed that same gleam, though perhaps not as openly displayed in the eyes that alighted on Mina. So that was the kind of village to which Mina had come as a bride. You'd better make her happy, Alex, Kaim called out again towards his friend's receding form. I'm counting on you. But now the uncle had his arm around Alex's shoulders and he was noisily monopolizing his nephew's attention. Alex never heard those words from Kaim. Ah, dear. It was 3 months later when Alex came to visit Kaim at work on the pier. I'm in town on a buying trip, so I thought I'd stop by and say hello, Alex announced. But judging from the fatigue evident on his friend's face, Kaim had a pretty good idea of his real reason for coming here. As casually as possible, Kaim asked, how is Mina doing? With a feeble smile, Alex replied, after the wedding, things happened. Mina had been accepted neither as a member of the family, nor as a resident of the village. There were too many differences in daily customs, in culture. But the one thing that made Mina too different from the tiny village was the brown colour of her skin. Ah, great. Racists. If only she could speak with people. Mina is trying her best to learn our language, but my mother and the other relatives make no attempt to learn hers. Not so much as a good morning or a thank you. They insist it's up to the daughter-in-law to do all the adapting. Still, Mina was working hard to draw closer to Alex's family and birthplace. She would be the first one out to the fields in the morning, work without a break until the sun went down, and do sewing until late at night. She would try to talk to people in the local dialect that Alex had taught her using gestures and body language, and she would apologize profusely with abject smiles whenever she failed to understand what they were saying. Kaim could easily imagine Mina going through these exertions, which made Alex's report all that more painful to him. Or all the more painful. You should come to visit us now and then, Kaim. Mina would love to see you too. Kaim responded vaguely with a silent nod. When Alex added, I want you to come and cheer her up, he said nothing in reply. What's wrong, Kaim? Are you angry? I'm not going to visit. Why not? You promised me you'd make her happy, remember? We agreed that you're the only one who can do it. But still, sorry, I haven't got time for this. I have to get this ship loaded before it sails at sunset. With this curt dismissal, Kaim turned away and continued working. Alex stared at him from behind, looking frustrated and confused. Kaim could feel his friend's gaze on his back. Because he could feel it, he kept working without another backward glance. Eventually, Alex gave up and left. Neither man spoke words of farewell. A year after the wedding, Mina gave birth to a son. The boy had brown skin like his mother. He had just started crawling when Alex visited Kaim again. There was talk of a divorce. Alex said, There's nothing wrong with our relationship. Mina and I love each other. That's for certain, but my mother and the relatives say there is no way they can accept a brown-skinned child as the family heir. His existence supposedly harms the marriage prospects of my younger brother and sister too, so they want us to send the baby to Mina's family. It's gone that far. Alex had lost a great deal of weight. He was obviously living with much pain every day, trapped as he was between family and Mina. None of this made sense to Kaim. However trapped Alex might be, as long as he was firm on what was important to him, there could only be one answer to his family's demands, and he should be able to arrive at it without anguish or confusion. I know how strong you are, Alex sighed, speaking to Kaim's back as Kaim went on hoisting huge spine-snapping crates in silence. The longshoremen here were well paid for handling crates on their own, loads that it would take 3 ordinary men to lift. The daily wage was calculated by the number of loads each man lifted, so asking for help would result in a pay cut. For this reason, Kaim and the others never complained or asked for help. They would lift even the heaviest loads by themselves. Alex had been like that too. If someone nearby asked him, are you going to be okay with that? He would be all the more determined to do it on his own. Fine, fine. he would smile and, gritting his teeth, he would lift the giant load. Holy shit, I just had like a coughing fit, just from reading so much. But Alex was not like that anymore. Ugh. I'm starting to think that maybe in the long run, tying Mina down to a life in my village is just going to make her unhappy. My relatives say they'll support Mina and the baby, so it's not as if I'd be abandoning her or chasing her away. It's just that for both our sakes, starting a new life... Having finished piling crates on deck, Kaim turns towards Alex for the first time, who was looking down at Alex on the pier. Are you alright with that? Huh? If you're convinced that's the right thing, then go ahead and do it. It's not for me to interfere. Alex's features distorted under the impact of Kaim's words. Kaim said nothing more but went back to work. His anger and frustration were reaching the boiling point. Alex had no idea that Mina had been writing to Kaim on occasion since shortly after the wedding. About the hardship she had been facing in the home of her husband's family, she said not a word. Instead, she would spell out how happy her current life was and declare repeatedly how much Alex loved her. Always the letters would end like this. I'm sure you, too, must be living happily, Kaim. This was why Alex's report of the situation at home had filled him with such intense anger and frustration. He had never answered Mina's letter, or letters. He felt certain that if he were to write to her, whether with words of encouragement or comfort, or even playing along with her sad lies, something important that gave her spiritual support would snap in two. Come see the baby, Kaim, Alex pleaded. Mina would be thrilled if you'd do that. Instead of responding to Alex, Kaim called out to him from on deck. See that crate over there? Can you lift it? The crate near Alex was on the same size and weight as the one that Kaim had just loaded on the ship. In the old days, Alex would not have hesitated to carry it up to the ship, every muscle in his body shuddering. Now, however, Alex gave Kaim one timid glance and, smiling to hide his embarrassment, said, "Not me." Kaim said nothing more. He felt strongly that their long friendship had come to an end, though in fact, for Kaim, whose life would go on through all eternity, it had been nothing more than a momentary acquaintance. Jesus. Kaim has been on this endless journey ever since. Now and then he thinks back to those bygone days. Both Alex and Mina long ago came to dwell among his distant memories, the kind of memories that revive with a deep sense of bitterness, and they are there to this day. Alex made his third trip to see Kaim a year after the baby was born. Having wasted away to a mere shadow of his former self, Alex stared vacantly at Kaim, and his voice lacked all... Oh my god. And his voice lacked all intonation as he announced Mina's death. She had killed herself. Hanged herself in the barn. Kaim was amazed at his own detachment as he took in Alex's words. Mina's letters had stopped coming several months earlier. Either she no longer needed to spin those sad little lies about being accepted by Alex's family and the townsfolk, or she had lost the strength to invent them anymore. In effect, it was the latter. Kaim was learning now. To the very end, she could not make anyone accept her. My mother, my family, or the town, Alex said tearfully. She was all alone, finally, to the very end. Without a word, Kaim punched Alex in the face. Alex seemed to know and accept the fact that the punch would be coming. He did nothing to resist or defend himself. Jesus Christ. The fist hit him full on and sent him sprawling in the road. Why? Kaim demanded to know. Why did you say she was all alone? And when Alex righted himself, he smashed him in the face again. Alex began coughing violently and uncontrollably, and when he spat up a gob of blood, a broken back tooth came out with it. Kaim knew well enough that Alex had been suffering too. They had been engaged in a desperate struggle to do something about being trapped between family and wife. Otherwise he would never have wasted away so dramatically from the brawny young man as he used to be. As well as he knew this, however, Kaim could not forgive him. He had promised, he had given his word, he would make Mina happy, he would protect her. Kaim could never forgive Alex for failing to make good on his oath. Wiping the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand, Alex dragged himself to his feet. "I know how strong you are," he said to Kaim, as he had once before, but this time his words